in a couple months, 250,000 words.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then that was just for me, but I showed some articles to my mom and she started sending, like, sharing it with her friends. And, there's this professor that has caught some of my, like, talks that I've done in the past at different events. And he read one and he's like, Emmett, man, this could be a book. And I just shoot him off like, no, 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 no. This is for me. These are just because some of the book was really heavy. And, well, I began editing the book and was like, you know what? I started believing in myself more. And it's so funny to me because inside, I believed in myself so much. I was teaching guys yoga. I was, educating myself, learning Spanish, learning different languages to try reaching others. And that did something so remarkable for me on a personal level. It's just, and when I came home and it felt like it was just ripped apart. And then what I realized more so was my mind was ripped in many areas, and it was so hard to get that back together. But one thing that helped me was writing that book, doing that editing process. That took years, like years of editing, like what? And now it's at 79,000 words. The title has changed multiple times from Inside Out, because Inside Out was me just trying to look at myself. It was like a double meaning when I first started. And yeah, it was pretty anyways, I could go on and on about that. But writing has always been something that's it's something I'm very passionate about. I've always been passionate about reading books. And one thing I can do is thank my mom for that. While I was inside prison, she would actually send me a lot of books because a lot of material there just was not. And she would send me books from her book club or wherever. And some of these stories are what I leaned into to become who I am today. Some of these books actually mentored me through that time because the role models, there weren't too many of them. At least the one, like, there was amazing people, so much untapped talent inside prison. But you got to be very careful. And I always just said, I'm going to do this myself. I'm not going to join a gang. I'm not going to do this. And I just focused. I read, and, I went to confinement a few times. I did, a lot of stuff happened, but I'm here today now. My book count time's complete. It's 79,799 words. Just recently, I got a call from Killer Nashville. It's been named a finalist for the Claymore Award for Best Nonfiction. So I'm like super psyched about that. I'm starting to get my articles published and just really trying to take ownership of where I've been, who I am now, where I'm going. And, it's a full-time job, but I'm happy to do it. And I'm happy to be talking with all of you now and spreading the story and spreading my story about mass incarceration, especially about coming home and experiencing real complex PTSD or anxiety issues, and trying to help others and educate others about what's happening inside. There are really bad people, and I understand that. I've met some that, to me, I'm like, I ran into an abolitionist the other day, and they're like, we should get rid of all jails. I'm like, well, I don't know, because man, I was in there with dude, he'd eat you right now. Right? Not feel anything about it. And so I've ran into some evil people, and there's people that do things to, like, just the rabbit hole goes on in that regard. But one thing I'm so thankful for now is just there's so many things I'm so grateful for now. My family, my fiance, this house that I remodeled, like so many things. But it started when I accepted there was a problem within me, And then I chose to like just move forward, and I have to tackle this. It was, for me, coming home was more difficult than prison, which
Mm-hmm.
sound crazy, but it really was like that. And
Yeah. So, the process of being released from prison and trying to um, get acclimated to the world back outside, what helped you the most besides the writing?
what helped me the most besides writing? Um, I would definitely, I would say, my in the beginning it was my mom, and then it was also my yoga teacher who I met in New York, because I traveled to Brooklyn, New York, and got my teacher training. He reached out and had me do a workshop with him, opening my heart chakra. And after that, like shortly after that, I met my fiance. She was my girlfriend then, but
Mm-hmm.
she's always been so supportive of me and really helped me know that I'm okay. And then her dog Bear, animals have always been a great friend to me. And
Mm-hmm.
just being with nature and just setting boundaries. And yeah, there's just so many things to be thankful for. It's hard to say exactly what, but I guess when I was in my deepest, darkest moment, the first thing was me accepting I had a problem and I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to change. I knew either crazy or, I didn't want to go back to prison. And my passion is to help people, but yet I was destroying myself in so many ways because I refused to accept that there was a problem within me. And
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even label it as a problem. There were just many different things happening within this mind.
Yeah.
I just had to find out what that is. What is making you do this? Why are you doing this? And who are you, Emmett? Because you're
Mm-hmm.
identifying as the Emmett you were in prison, but you are no longer him. You aren't that individual. And I had to accept that I'm different now. I was different when I was 5, 13, 20, 25, 30, and you keep growing, you keep changing, and it's just accepting where you are at that moment, and then like
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep being better. God, I have to be. This is who I am at heart. And so, yeah. Did I answer that? I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I'm like going on and on, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm trying to make it count, and that's what my book is about. That's what everything that I do is about, just making my life count, making your time count. And I think every one of us are can do that. And it's just about unlocking those mental, finding those little prisons within our own minds and finding the keys and busting open the door. I don't know. So yeah, it's
Well,
been
it takes a really strong person to really realize that, and um, I've myself I'm 55 and have my own trials and tribulations, and every day I'm changing and learning from
yeah.
just from life. So
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Honestly,
got your
like,
thing tag right now.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh no,
Sorry.
you were in the thick of it, and I really, honestly, that was really good. I really appreciated that,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah, but while you're clicking that, I'll add you into the chat so you can stream to your audience as well midway. But another question that I had for you,
Okay.
not just what helped
I'll
you
do
like,
this later.
oh yeah,
I'm over it now. I don't
yeah.
want to talk about.
Yeah, another question I had, not just what helped you acclimate after you got after you got out of prison, but you said a few times that you were actually in confinement in solitary for more than once. You said actually.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I was wondering. I had a question as to if writing was your biggest one of your biggest means of acclimating and reclaiming that humanity. What helped you? What have you? Did you ever have moments where you feel like you were losing it in confinement a little bit? Um,
Oh yeah. There definitely was a time I actually wrote a chapter on it in my memoir, Count Time. Well, it was a series of events that were happening. So, I mean, I witnessed an officer murder a man in front of me, and why I went to confinement was because at Lake Butler RMC in Stark, Florida, up there, it's infamous, and there was a lot of officer brutality. Well, what happened was I saw my friend, the whole dorm did, and we watched it outside in the hallway. These three officers were just jumping my friend, beating him, jumping in the air, landing on his head in their boots, and spraying him with this chemical they call Black Jesus. And they say it because they named it Black Jesus because they say it makes the black man scream for Jesus. That's and they laugh about it. And that's what they were spraying him with. Get a whiff of that, boom, and then jumping in the air. So a bunch of us guys, there were 400 of us, were supposed to lay down, refused to lock down when count time came. And out of all these 400, only 25 of us actually did that because, it's scary. They will kill you. It's not a game. It's not a pretend. It's not fiction. It's really happening inside Florida prisons, and not just Florida. I'm sure all across the board, but
Florida's like the worst of the worst, honestly.
oh man, I wish I could really had more hours because I mean, yeah, it's so bad. But so when I went to confinement, it was for that incident. We said we were going to stand up for this man that was almost killed in front of us, and we went to this confinement. And while I was in there, they gassed us with the Black Jesus is what they call it, and but that was nothing. That's what you expect. That's not really what it was that really made my mind kind of go through it. It was a series of the events, the spray, the abuse that you've witnessed already for years go on, and then you get moved to different confinement cells, and you're dealing with different people inside there, and then at one point I get put on property strip at Swanee CI, and to this day I hate the cold. I can't stand it. It was a torture weapon. They kept it so cold. I mean, I can't even tell you when they do property strip at Swanee CI Annex in Florida prison system, they take everything. Your mat, and it's a metal rack, so you can't even. It's so cold in there, you can't even sleep, and they take it away for 3 days at least, and it can go on. And then sometimes you're getting these things called air trays. It's got a flap, so when they're giving it to you, it looks like the officers are doing their job. If it's on camera or something, they can see it. But when you open the flap inside your dorm, there's nothing in your tray. So You're being starved. The lights are on 24/7. Freaking. And then property strip. Whoa, I'd rather get gassed than deal with property strip because it was so freaking mentally tough. The only way to finally sleep, I realized, was do 10,000 jumping jacks. There's no wonder I had plantar fasciitis for 2 years in there.
Yeah,
jumping
jacks. You pay so many times to give yourself shin splints in both legs.
Oh man, just to freaking cool yourself down. You do so much, and it's and then finally just so exhausted, just begging for just a little bit of sleep. Just give me 5 minutes and
a little bit of comfort.
Curl into a ball sitting on the toilet because it's impossible to sleep on your rack. So that prolonged over time. And then it just kept, and then when you go to the showers or something, they'll do really rotten stuff to your inside your cell, tear it all up.
Yeah. Hey, Emmett, we do have a question from the chat from Nayada Green. She asks, Emmett, what are your thoughts on the Olmsted DOG memo, given your experience with being in prison?
I'm going to be honest with you. I have not read the Olmsted DOG memo. I haven't. Let me look it up really quick. Or maybe I have. I've read so much and I do so much studying. I'm sure I probably have Let me just get caught up really quick on it.
Yeah, no worries. Nero's just going to hang backstage and monitor chat. Just so you know, they did not disappear from the live.
Okay.
Yeah, love it, honestly.
I
But
think
that it's that there's a certain kind of psychological torture. I mean, I've dealt with that when I was in psych wards for a while. Like
Yeah.
it's not even just it's just it's a stripping of everything that the smallest thing that would bring you comfort, blankets, little soft anything,
oh
and the
man.
constant shift in routine, the no stability. It's meant to
Oh.
make you as feel completely unsafe, no control over your surroundings, and no control over anything else.
Yeah. You know, that story I was just talking about when I was on Property Strip, I was actually in there with this DOJ memo. You know, it's a lot about like, do you any of you know what it is?
Yes.
You do, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I was inside with, you know, this one inmate that got brought into my room with me. He was actually blind. And for some reason inside like prison, I never thought, like, I thought there'd be like a special, it never entered my mind about someone being in this environment blind in prison. It was mind blowing to me. So, man, it was messed up. And these officers, dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
There's no protection.
But
Yeah.
this guy was really cool. He's from Jacksonville, and man, I ended up really helping him and really connecting with him at first. You know, he was really cool, and he had a trouble with his like mother, and I ended up helping him write letters to his mom to get that relationship repaired and stuff. It was pretty cool. Like it was really cool. I actually wrote about it in my memoir. It was a really good story. Or maybe that section was edited. I had to edit so much stuff, but I wrote about it, and I hope it's still in the final cut.
But even then, it's like it's in the worst of straits. It's a shitty environment. It's a horrible thing, and you still found a little bit of space for kindness to help another human being with something that they were struggling with, and that kindness was reciprocal. That kind of empathy was reciprocal. And that is a remarkable sign of strength, honestly.
Yeah. Well, thanks. And you know, I'm reading this memo now, and you know, I apologize to the viewer who actually asked that question. I have not read this article, but I will, and I might even write a story on it and give you my full thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now. It's just, you know, Florida is constantly taking, you know, rights away from.
Yeah.
You know, in our Florida prison system now, you can't even write a letter. You can't write a letter.
No pens, no pencils. You can.
It's all scanned through a system of private corporations taking over the contracts. So now you have to send your stuff in, it gets scanned, and then an email. But you know, these emails, a lot of these guys don't have money to charge for their stamps. A lot of times you get money. You know, you do work for someone. Back in the day, you used to just like, hey, I'll make your bed. The guy gives you 5-10 stamps. So now you can write home. It's a way to silence people.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. It's a way to silence information. I actually read a really powerful book called The Power of One. It was one of the first books I read before I went to prison. I was in the county, and that's one of the systems they did in apartheid, like South Africa, where they would like not allow inmates to get letters or them to write out. And it's so messed up. And then they're doing it right now, and they're trying to make it all across the board to every prison now. And it's a big money maker for these private corporations. Plus it keeps silence. It's a code of silence.
There's another question from chat. Did you see prisoners being denied communication because they were deaf or hard of hearing? It's rampant in Florida jails and prisons because people aren't allowed to have access, even though caption phones are available and cheap. Did you have any experience with any of your inmates being deaf or hard of hearing?
I was only I was only locked up with that blind guy. is that the wrong way to say it? I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody.
I work for the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, so you're
yeah,
right on.
I live right down the road from the Florida Deaf and Blind School here in St. Augustine, and you know, full respect. A lot of my friends, yeah. But anyways, I've seen so many horrible things within the system. It is so hard to pinpoint, because if anybody thinks it, this is all I can say about, you know, what's going on sometimes with some officers. Not everyone, let me be clear about that. Not everyone is a straight terrible person or a psychopath just in a uniform. There are some good people, but inside Florida DOC, I can't speak of other prisons, but I know one thing for a fact. Inside Florida DOC, it doesn't matter if you're blind. It doesn't matter if you can't walk or you're paralyzed, you're paraplegic, quadriplegic. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, yellow. Anybody can get it in the Florida Department of Corrections. There is no sparing anybody. So if you're in that system, you know, you might be convicted, but you end up becoming the victim when you go inside there. And there are some people, and don't get me wrong, there are some people that I understand they can't be, you know, you have to put them somewhere. Maybe that might not be the best place. I don't know what the cure to, you know, people to stop committing crimes and stuff, but inside there, I've done bad things in my past. I really have. And one thing I can tell you, I've been around some pretty bad people. But when I went to Florida prison, I encountered some officers within that system that I've never been in the presence of an evil like that. I mean, I'm telling you, this person will walk in and everybody in that room, 120 to sometimes 80 to 120 people, feel that presence, and they know what that presence means. That presence is death. And if you fuck around with it, and sorry my language.
No, it's good.
All right, okay, now that I know I can cuss, I can.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. If you fuck around, they're gonna show you what time it is. You will not make it. We'll write it up, make it look like a suicide, or we won't even make it look like a suicide. We'll write it up as that, and then, you know, let everyone else see. Yeah, this is what happens to you, and it's scary, man. It is scary. That's why the Alabama Solution. Have you guys watched that?
I have, yes.
It's a remarkable, and shout out to all those guys inside there, because what they're doing right now, getting that information exposed, whoo, man, they're brave. That is bravery.
That is bravery.
You know exactly what can happen, and I'm sure Alabama's along the same line. It probably is in the same circle. I do believe that Florida gives pointers to Alabama on how to do shit and get away with it. Or Alabama's looking to Florida now like, yo, how the hell are y'all getting away with this so much?
No,
that's crazy.
It's not even just like, I think there is something to say about the influx of power and how being in a position of power in a culture that encourages cruelty for the sake of cruelty, it makes it very difficult to maintain kindness when the culture around you will immediately punish any kind of kindness, vulnerability, or as weakness of that kind.
Yeah,
there is a culture among law enforcement, unfortunately, and it's not even just the individuals, the moral failing. It's just the culture that invites and encourages cruelty for the sake of cruelty and punishes any sort of mercy or kindness.
Oh, man, it is. You're hitting the nail on the head, and it's just and you know what kills me the most is that, you know, people say, you know, just throw them in prison. People, you know, they belong there. They committed a crime. I get it. Yeah, but what people don't understand is that it is not just the person in prison doing time. It's the entire family. It could be an entire community. There are people that love people in there, and all suffering because of it. And when you come, like, I mean, my mom, I had people trying to come and visit me, and the way they were treated, just trying to come and see me.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make, I mean, I don't know. These people just saying like, oh, I should go to prison. Fuck them.
Yeah,
Fuck them. Dude, if they even knew who, like, how despicable these people will treat not the prisoner, family members.
Yeah.
It's
all
family members that get abused by proxy.
Oh God, it's
abuse and trauma by proxy at that point.
Yeah, and
and the problem with the prison system is that it treats crime like some kind of moral failing. Okay, if you don't want to go to prison, then don't do the crime. It's an easy choice, but that's not always the case.
No, and that is you're so on point with that, because that isn't always the case. And if you really break it down, it goes back so far to when, you know, after Civil War, they're putting black codes in. They're doing, and if people don't know about that, research that.
Oh yeah,
and what really transpired to get to where we are today, it was well thought out. These people did that with a real plan. They knew exactly what they were doing and how, I mean, what they're doing to whole entire communities out here, making poverty, just racism, new Jim Crow laws, like all
sexual abuse,
bullshit.
The sexual abuse of it all. I mean, I find it, isn't it kind of this little mindfuckery, honestly, with it, because you will get more time in like either a federal or local prison for property destruction based on how much money that property was worth than you would for sexual assault or even pedophilia in many cases.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm about to write an article now called the prison system is a serial killer. It's gonna be raw.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's gonna be I just wrote an article. It goes so far into like, but it has so many statistics about like how yoga heals, how you can find healing in yoga, and it's cost effective. It's very low cost setup, and it actually works. There's studies where we know that it's working. So why not give someone something? Or there Dr. Baz Dressinger, she's with Incarceration Nations. She wrote the book Incarceration Nations, but she also did set up a pipeline for people to go to school. And that's like an amazing program. We need education. We need people to get out here and
if you give people the means to improve their lives, they will do just that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the punitive, the cruelty is the point, unfortunately. And the whole point, and the screwy thing is that it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. More incarcerated people, more people in prison, more people in solitary doesn't bring down crime rates. More cruelty doesn't stop people from committing crimes. More resources do that.
Yeah, it doesn't. And there's so many reasons that there's a lot of reasons what's going on right now is why it's taking place right now. And I'm so sorry, I'm having like a million thoughts about how fucked up and why the DOC system is so corrupt, so messed up. And I guess it just is bringing me back to we can do better. I believe that.
We need to do
and
better.
I believe in people, and I've seen the worst of the worst of like prison guards, the brutality of killings, but I've also seen very courageous officers too, very courageous people within that system that they aren't with that, but they have to survive it too because they're doing time too. So it's, but it starts. The corruption level is so hardcore. Like, the Department of Corrections on a corruption scheme is like down here, and it just like
spirals up and up and up.
Yeah, and like these laws. Yeah. But
hey, Emmett. So another comment from Nyetta Green. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm assuming it's back a few comments or discussion before, that, and I have family who have been in prison and are in law enforcement. At some point, it is about personal responsibility, but also I think it's demographics too, right? Because you're in Florida, the Florida system, and I believe Nayetta is up in the Northeast. So I don't know, Nayetta, if I think demographics really play a big, huge part of that. You know, I do agree.
As well as
just what is she disagreeing? Which comment? What did I say? Do you know? I was talking a lot.
Back to that.
I wish I knew which one, because
I think it was. I think it was about like the corruption within the prison guards and whatnot. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, come to Florida.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Come down here and see what it's like. But I'm telling you, no, I have some officers that I still talk to today.
Sure.
There's some great people. One of them helped me with questions when I was writing my book. You know what I mean? It's like that's what I was saying. There's really good people, but there's really bad. And she is right. It does come down to personal responsibility, but it doesn't only just start with inmates. It starts with officers. It starts in the higher ups. It starts with our people we elect. It starts with, where does that?
It starts with community access. And also it's like, it's not just it's not just like, it's where does that start? But also like the idea of personal responsibility being the sole and only definitive reason for the actual benefit of incarceration. It's a tricky one, because you can't, whether it's personal responsibility, whether you're in prison or not, is kind of besides the point. It doesn't always work. What are you supposed to learn from having your autonomy stripped away like that? What are you supposed to learn from being in a constant state of psychological torture and a constant state of trauma? Deterrents don't work. That punitive measure, it doesn't work in the way people think it does.
Yeah, it's. Let me read something. I'll read something that touches on that. And so I wrote this the other day. It's for an article, but I'll give you, I guess, a sneak peek of it. It's submitted right now, so I don't know if I could get in trouble for this, but I'm just going to read this out for the viewers and everyone, just so they understand that I'm not just speaking, out my. It's been documented. This isn't just me, Emmett Tatter, saying it. There are many groups, agencies that are documenting exactly what we're all discussing here. Like, things are messed up within the Department of Corrections, and not just there, but I couldn't lie to myself anymore and act like prison didn't fuck me up.
Right.
I couldn't say shit like I don't have complex PTSD. Only soldiers or real trauma victims get that. A peer-reviewed study found lifetime PTSD prevalence of 17.8% among incarcerated men and 41.1% among incarcerated women. And the researchers flat out said it's still widely underdiagnosed because of lack of knowledge and a system that never properly screens for it. Bear with me for a moment while I lay this out. A 2024 fact sheet from the International Society for Traumatic Stress Studies says almost everybody behind bars has lived through at least one potentially traumatic event, and most have been hit with multiple different types of trauma. Untreated PTSD is directly tied to getting rearrested after release, even when you control for drug use. So when I finally admitted myself that I had complex PTSD, I wasn't being dramatic, and I did get diagnosed with this too, just so you know, and other things. So I was finally catching up to what the data already knew about people like me. So no wonder the recidivism numbers are what they are. According to the most recent national report built on Bureau of Justice Statistics data, about 71% of people released from state prison in 2012 were rearrested within 5 years, and around 82% were rearrested at least once over 10 years. No wonder. We come home carrying everything I described above. And let me tell you that what I described above in this article is nothing right now. So with no real tools, no real support, in a society that would rather lock us back up than ask why we're struggling in the first place. So why are we struggling? Why are people really committing crimes? Like, is it just because of drugs? Is it just because of this? Or is, what's going on in the communities? What's going on at home? Are these people suffering? It just is a rabbit hole to keep going. But
sure,
the system sets the conditions for failure and then acts shocked when failure happens. And here's another dirty little detail nobody on the outside really sees. These numbers are hard to get. States define recidivism differently. Some count rearrest, some count reconviction, some only count return to prison. Time windows change, categories change, reporting falls apart from one state to the next. There is no simple national dashboard you could pull up on your phone that tells you how many people went back in last year and why. It's all scattered, delayed, and inconsistent. And that is something that the Marshall Project, we've discussed them earlier, they've been writing about.
They've been trying to set up that database. They've been doing that work and trying to investigate as much as they can, compile those numbers.
Yeah, and it's just messed up. So they're scattered, delayed, and inconsistent. To me, that says a lot about what we're allowed to see and why. The more the state obscures those numbers, the easier it is to pretend the system is working, even while it keeps sending traumatized people back through that never-ending revolving door. And, oh God, I'm going to scroll down just to get you a little picture. And if anyone wants to talk, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, Emmett.
But anyways, it's messed up. And I was about to go on to like what I researched on the killings and the death that are happening, not just in Florida, but all across the Department of Corrections.
Honestly, the main takeaway is that it's just we need to do better, because traumatize someone after they caused harm, like further harm doesn't solve the harm that was already done. It doesn't bring back what was taken. It doesn't bring back what was damaged. It doesn't undo the trauma that person did. Yeah. Of course, there is a time and place for personal responsibility, of course, but this isn't working.
Yeah,
and they're like that.
Yeah, the whole system needs to be reevaluated for sure. Emmett, we're getting really close to the top of the hour.
This was fun. I really liked.
Yeah, we can have you back on and revisit this discussion for sure.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, and I'll figure out how to work my live for my Substack audience.
We'll do a thing. Oh, we'll do another thing behind it, and we'll make sure it's ready for set. And
this is a sneak peek. And and I'm glad everyone tuned in. And I'm an open book, I just want to state that I am not the man with all the answers.
Right.
I don't pretend to be. All I know is what I can speak from lived experience.
Exactly.
And that is the only thing that I know and what I witness. And I stand on the truth that comes out my mouth. And if I'm wrong, I will admit that I'm wrong.
Sure.
And I just want to thank everybody who tuned in and, can say up front, I don't agree with you. And that is what life in our country is like supposed to be about. We are supposed to be able to talk with each other and have a communication. And it's okay if you don't agree with me or I don't agree with you. But all I know is we're all in this together, like you said, Tig, and we can do better. And I hope we can. And we can all make it count. Count time.
Yes.
Well, yeah. So with that, we're going to go ahead and carve out a little bit of joy because,
let's do it.
Your story is very fucking heavy, man, So let's do that real quick. And then we'll sell ourselves. Emmett, you can just tell people where you could be found.
Okay.
So, Emmett, why don't you go ahead and let us know what brought you joy in the last week or today or whenever. Yeah.
What brought me joy today was spending time with my fiance, reading a paper, working on my papers, walking my dog Bear, and even though a cat attacked him today, ran out from a car and ran probably 30 yards and jumped on his back and tried I've never seen a cat do this before. It was the craziest thing. And I have a pit bull. And
Yeah.
my dog was like, whoa. But seeing that our dog was okay, and he's back with us, cuddled up. He's got a little cone on so he doesn't scratch the wounds from the cat. And just us being together as a family, that has brought me so much peace today.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, that's wonderful. What about you, Tig?
These flowers too.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god! Something that brought me joy in the last few days. Friday, I had a little side quest, I call it, to Midtown. I had a consult for my top surgery for this summer. Got a few new resources for that coming up, so that's good. But also, after the consult was over, I just walked across the street to Central Park Zoo, and just went to the MoMA and just went on a little adventure, a little excursion around Midtown, Central Park Zoo, and it was so nice to just put my headphones on and listen to anime soundtracks and the Avatar Last Airbender soundtrack. Just watching the sea lions and just sitting on the bench or just looking at Monet paintings. It was a really
awesome.
nice day.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
That sounded perfect.
Yeah. So for me, being in Utah, we're in a very hot spell right now. It's like 105 to 109, depending on where you are in the northern part. This is not even the southern part of Utah. Yeah. Half the state is on fire. At any rate, I had the absolute joy of going over to a friend's house yesterday and dipping in their pool and being able to cool off with friends. And
that's nice.
Yeah, that was very, very nice. So with that, let's go ahead and sell ourselves. Throw out your plug there, Emmett, where people can find you.
Okay. I'm on Substack, Emmett Tatter. I invite people to come subscribe and read some of my articles. You might learn something. I'm just trying to educate and tell the truth and give my personal story. You can find me I have published articles with Counterpunch. You can read me on there. My book Count Time just became a finalist for the Killer Nashville Claymore Award for Best Nonfiction. So let's keep going, and I'll keep writing. I'll keep sharing my journey, my story with everyone that that is interested to even hear it.
Love it.
Hey, I get it. We all have stuff going on, but let's just all make it count and do our best.
Namaste. Yeah. Woo. And Tig, where can we find you?
Hello, I'm Tig Manzueta. I write Tigology on Substack, and I have a larger platform. My website, tigologyverse.com. You can find a lot of my essays as well as Substack, not on Substack exclusive writings. I have a few fun projects coming up, and really just coming up with a plan to fix the world and everything that's wrong with it. Essentially, I'm an aspiring actuarial scientist. Multidisciplinarity is my thing, and so I think everyone we need more magic and more mad science in this world, and that's
magic.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
All right.
I'm a Gryffindor too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
All right. And then, we just got a comment from Nikki. This is becoming one of my favorite shows. Thank you, Nikki.
Oh,
that's so sweet. Much love.
Love.
Yeah. And so I'm Sushi, the host of Mind Haven. Everyone knows, I think, everyone knows where they can find me. I can be found on YouTube at Sushiphiliac, along with Substack at Sushiphiliac. Yeah. So, hey, Emmett, we are definitely going to have you back on. Continue this conversation.
Yeah.
It's a lot to dive into.
It's a lot to dissect, and my brain is all over the place. So sometimes when a simple question, I have like 30 different answers for it.
Because
there's so much information. So
all right. Well, we're going to close it out here real soon. Emmett, just stay put. Once we end the live, we'll just meet backstage and we'll discuss having you back on. Okay. So, hey, everyone, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Coming on, everybody.
Much love.
Much love.
Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll see you all soon.
And we are